20th, 2024. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And, you know, this is a really dark day in our country. You know, it really is. And I don't mean just because the sun hasn't come up yet. You know, we had, of course, President Trump, 80% of the vote here in Florida. Very nice. Who are these 20%ers that voted for someone other than Trump in the Florida primary? A bunch of lunatics. But it's a dark day because of Peter Navarro right now is sitting in a prison cell here in Florida, in a federal prison. And he is, without a doubt, a political prisoner. And he's not the only political prisoner here in the state of Florida. We have another one, Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump has been arrested multiple times. They have a mugshot of him. Letitia James, who will tell you that this country was built on slavery and racism and there's racial discrimination today. You know, she is a black woman who is taking on a white president of the United States and trying to seize all of his money and his personal property and assets in New York. You know, we have two high-profile political prisoners here in the state of Florida. And it's hard to even wrap my mind around that. It's hard to even accept that it's happened. But it's happened, and it's continuing. And it's going to continue. You know, political prisoners are things we used to hear about all the time in the Soviet Union. We still hear about it in Russia today sometimes. Cuba, of course. China. You hear these stories in China where when someone has like a Bible, a single Bible, not only do they go to prison, they take their house. Sometimes they destroy the house. They seize all their property, everything else. What is different about what's going on in this country right now than what's going on in Russia today, Cuba, China, the old days of the Soviet Union and all that? And the answer is nothing. We're just doing it in English. The other places spoke different languages, but that's what's going on here. And, you know, Ron DeSantis, I am so disgusted and disappointed with Ron DeSantis. You know, I was talking earlier this morning. I did a live stream on YouTube before I came into the radio station. And, you know, before Ron DeSantis betrayed, if you're on hold, stand by. Because I do want to go to the phones and hear your thoughts on all this. But before the betrayal of Ron DeSantis, when Ron DeSantis betrayed everyone who ever voted for him for governor and betrayed President Trump and started running against President Trump, we used to call Florida Ron DeSantis's free Florida, right? Remember that? Ron DeSantis's free Florida. Well, how free is Florida today with Peter Navarro in a prison cell, in a federal prison right here in Florida and Miami, and the opposition leader, Donald Trump, has been arrested, mugshots, still got cases? Fani Willis is taking government money and paying a guy to have sex with her. She talks about, yeah, he makes money. Yeah, we have sex. What are you going to do about it? And that case continues. Letitia in New York is going to try to seize Trump Tower. And I understand Ron DeSantis can't do anything about the court system in New York or the federal system, but he could get off his high-heel boots and come out and address the press and share how sick and disgusted he is that in this great state of Florida we have two political prisoners, and the only reason that Peter Navarro is in prison right now and they're doing everything they're doing with Donald Trump is because the Democrats and the political establishment are getting whooped in the polls. They're going to lose in November, and they're arresting people that are their political opposition. Problem is, Ron DeSantis is with the people doing this, the Paul Ryan establishment people. So what I want to do here early on, the first thing I want to do is ask you to call in and share in radio-friendly terms, okay? Share your thoughts and emotions on the fact that we have Peter Navarro in a prison cell right now in Florida because he's MAGA and worked for President Trump. And there's another question here, and this one I'm going to throw this out, and I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with this yet, but this is something to think about. And of course, when President Trump comes back into office in January, he and his Justice Department have a very big decision to make. Do they arrest and prosecute all these lawfare criminals? And there's a lot of them. Okay? Fannie Willis, Letitia James, Jack Smith, Merrick Garland. There's a whole bunch. I mean, there's a long list. Or do they not prosecute them? And the reason I ask this question is because of this. This lawfare that we're experiencing right now is really becoming the new normal. Fox News cut away from Peter Navarro yesterday. They had to fact check him or something. Here you got a guy who's being dragged off to a federal prison by the leaders of this country right now, Biden and his minions and Obama and all of them, because he's MAGA and works for the leader of the political opposition, Donald Trump. And they cut away from it? And they're doing human interest stories and things like this? You know, I mean, it's becoming normal to arrest and imprison the political opposition in this country. So what I want to ask you as well is this. If President Trump and his Justice Department in the second term do the right thing, justice-wise, and put all these people in prison, okay, will that continue this cycle of lawfare? And what I mean by that is the American left and the American media and the establishment will view any prosecution of these criminal lowlives, Letitia James and all the rest, I'm not going to say their name every time, the lawfare people, they'll view that from their viewpoint as lawfare. So, should President Trump stop this before it becomes a cycle, or prosecute all these people and lock them up in his second term? That's an important thing to think about. You know, and I'm not saying that he should do that. I think they should go to prison. I'm not saying they haven't done crime. But is this going to be what it's like in this country now? You know, one last thing. I'm going to break, and then after the break, we're going to go to the phones. All right? So if you're on hold, stand by. And those of you on YouTube, I'll flip it around in a second. This is another question, and this is another big, important question to ask. But I'm looking at the clock. Let me take the break. I'll finish with that and then take your calls. All right? We'll be right back. Don't sit on the sidelines. I'll fix the camera angle, guys. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. Let's see. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. There we go. Pretty bad what's going on here. It is really freaking bad. Sorry, guys, I had the camera flipped the other way. I just, Just so disgusted by everything that's going on. Yeah, somebody in there got to what my next question was going to be. Thank you, Christine. Christine texted me and told me that the camera was facing the other way. I usually check the camera angle before I get going, and I'm just so fed up today, I just didn't even think to do it. I mean, Jody, our whole country's corrupt right now, right? Here we go.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world.
All right. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. 1-888-465-2631. Let me take some of these calls, and then we'll get into more. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. My name's Josh, and I'm calling from Utah.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Josh?
Well, it's just really sad and really horrifying about, like, where America is now. Like, they're doing things that you would think would only happen in these banana republics and China or Russia, and it's just really sad and horrifying. But Tucker Carlson, he came out and he was saying, like, you scared that the government's gonna
Okay, all right. See, I knew. I just said watch. You know, I know. You think we're stupid here? Oh my goodness. I don't know what it is, but I've got an ear. When I hear the first syllable of a caller, I guess I've just been doing this so long. I don't care who it is. When I hear the first syllable of a caller, no matter what word that first syllable comes from, I know exactly what they're going to say, where they're coming from, and everything else. You're on the air.
Jeff from Maine, Brian, and said the same thing the minute he opened his mouth, that first caller.
Yeah.
It's sickening, Brian. And let me tell you something. I don't know, I know you know, but I wonder how many people in this chat room know that Peter Navarro was found guilty of misdemeanors and should never be in a federal prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know these Fannie, Letitia, Bragg, they're going to be getting congressional subpoenas. Are they going to go to prison when they don't show up?
Yeah, right. And the sad thing, Brian, is all they've done to President Trump, they've done illegally all these false accusations, charges. But the minute Trump starts going after them once he's in office, they're going to say, Oh, they're politically motivated. He's coming against his enemies. And all he wants to do is bring justice back to the American government.
See, that was the second point I was going to make before the break, and I didn't have time, okay? If President Trump does what the right thing to do is, which is lock up all these animals and prosecute them, they're all bad cops and corrupt people, and they're the worst of the worst. I mean, and they're doing it and what I told you guys so much lately, what's so frightening is they do it in public on national television. If he does that, that would become the focus. He only has 4 years left. And if he does the right thing legally and goes after these lawfare people, the entire second term would be consumed with that. And it very well could stop him in that very short window he has of doing everything that he's got to do, like the largest deportation in the history of Western civilization. I mean, think about that.
Thing he's going to do is, you're right, Brian, is close the border and go after all those illegals, and especially the ones that are militant age from our sworn enemies. And once he does that, he needs to rebuild our military. And then the third thing is bring justice reform. But I think next to that is education reform, because we're not going to change our America until we change what's being taught in school.
Yeah, I know. We need to have there's so much to do and so little time. And this may be something that most MAGA people will get pissed at me for saying, but my gut instinct tells me that it's better not to prosecute these people in the second term, because it would just consume everything.
Hey, Brian, I never thought that until now, but what's more important, prosecuting these evildoers or changing our country back to what it was formed by our founding fathers?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, here, absolutely. We have these political prisoners within the. I want you to think about this. We have 2 political prisoners in the United States that are political prisoners of the President of the United States, Peter Navarro, and Donald Trump, and within the listening range of our radio station. I mean, think about that. It's scary. Yesterday, Peter Navarro said, if they can get me, they can get you.
And could I add one more group, Brian? And you'll agree, I'm sure, the J6 prisoners. There was, 2 or 3 that committed suicide. They were ruined financially. And those people, we need to pray for them and their families. And I think President Trump, when he gets in office, will do right. And Peter Navarro and the J6 prisoners and other politically motivated people that just because they supported Trump were attacked by this deep state, this evil that's in our government.
One of the reporters yesterday asked Peter Navarro if he was scared. Did anybody catch which reporter said that? That's the mindset of these people in the media. Are you scared? I mean, give me a break.
When they first came after Peter Navarro, they said, they're going to put me in prison. And he would not deter from being MAGA, Trump, and for America, knowing that they were going to throw him in prison. That's the kind of guy. That's a patriot.
Mm-hmm. We've had him on the show here a couple times. Peter Navarro's been on my podcast. He's a good guy. You guys have seen him on so many interviews. His last interview that he did before he went to prison yesterday, I think, was with Don Jr. I mean, look at this. They find either Joe or Hunter's cocaine in the White House, right? We know it's one of their cocaine. President Trump keeps implying it's Joe's cocaine. But Peter Navarro and Donald Trump get arrested. Peter Navarro's in jail. Come on.
He just portrays himself to be such a gentleman and an America first. He's a top shelf guy.
Well, when you're at the level of, I saw President Trump yesterday when he went to vote here in town, and did you see another reporter said, "Who are you going to vote for?" I mean, are these people stupid in the media? I mean, they're just brain dead. Or who are you going to vote for? And he turned around and he said, "Did somebody just ask who I'm going to vote for? Donald Trump. That's who I'm voting." I mean, one of the main reasons that Fannie and her jiggle, I mean, think about it. She's basically hired a male prostitute to have sex with her, paid him almost $1 million of government money, and Peter Navarro's in jail, and Fannie Willis is prosecuting Trump right now. Think about that. Think about what's going on here. And one of the main reasons that they're getting away with this is because we have stupid people in the media. Who are you voting for today, Donald Trump? If the media were holding them accountable, it'd be different. But the media are acting like this is legit.
And it's as simple as this. Can you imagine if Trump did any of this stuff illegally now? No, he'd be justified to go after his political opponents for what they did to him. But can you imagine if he was doing anything illegal, they would rip him 24 hours a day.
And I gotta tell you, this morning when I got up and I watched Peter Navarro's press conference again this morning, I almost didn't come into work this morning. I was so sick about it, and I'm not kidding. I was thinking about it. Maybe I just am so sick about it. I just don't feel like going into work today. It's so depressing. It's so upsetting. But then I see Donald Trump, nothing's slowing him down. And look at what and they're trying to take away they're talking now about starting to seize his New York properties next week.
How can they do that legally? Wouldn't he?
They don't care about the laws. They're doing what they want to do. They're making it up as they go along. All right, I got to run for the break. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. There's 2 openings on our board. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. Back to your calls after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
I know you guys are as upset as I am. See what I'm doing? Because I was so upset when I got here, I didn't get set up. I'm still setting things up. Okay. My Mac keeps freezing, so it says here, Command. Oh my God, they want me to push all these buttons? Opt, Command, P, and R? Oh my goodness, that's a lot of... Okay. Opt, Command, P, and R. 20 seconds, okay. I don't think I pushed the buttons down fast enough. Okay, let me do it again. My Mac is freezing up on me. Okay. Let me see. It says Option, Command, P, and R. Okay. 20 seconds. Okay. Let's see if this works. I've turned it off and on several times, and it keeps freezing. And it's a new MacBook. Well, Crystal, you quit watching Fox. Yeah, but the problem is, Crystal, that not everybody has done that. And millions of people are still getting their information that way. And even though you may not watch that stuff, the cable news, the mainstream media is still where a lot of the public perception is coming from, So that's why they're able, in large part, able to get away with all this nonsense. Okay, I think that unfroze it. We'll be back shortly, guys. Yeah, looks like that worked, what I just did. There's one opening on the board. Yeah, it's upsetting. We'll be back in 26 seconds.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, 34 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. One opening on the board, so let's just go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Cynthia from Martin County. How are you?
Hey, Cynthia. What's up?
Good. I agree 100% with you about the lawfare and that maybe we shouldn't prosecute, but let's remember, this is very good encouragement. Go to www.project.org, and that is where they're hiring everybody from all around the country to go help. And you have to fill out an application. They have 5,000 or more. Excuse me. They have Renew America, Heritage Foundation, all of them coming together. So on when he signs on the dotted line that he's our president again, which he will be, all these jobs and all these people are going to be in place. Everybody should apply. If it doesn't matter. If you're a grandmother.
Well, part of the, one of the many, there's a lot of problems we have, okay? And, one of the things we have is because as conservatives, we promote being in work for yourself, et cetera, et cetera. The entire bureaucracy of this country, from the local to the federal level, are all liberals. So we need to have a mass recruiting drive of people to work for the federal government. Right now we had the Republican primary in 5 states. President Trump got 80% of the vote here in Florida. Now look at this count. Yesterday, Trump received 10.5 million votes. Nikki Haley, 3.3 million votes. 3.3 million Republicans voted for Nikki Haley yesterday in those primaries. Who are these people? What are they thinking?
But let me tell you about the good ones.
Not here in Florida. You got to be a Republican to vote. We've got a lot of misguided Republican voters.
Well, here's what happens. Yesterday, we won in our account. We took our town back.
Yeah.
Why? Because, let me tell you what happens, too. Democrats, okay, obviously, they changed party affiliation so they can vote in our Republican primary. But believe me when I tell you, this was a big win for us on a local level. Look at Bernie in Ohio. He won. Did you see the stats on that? I did. What happens is I think, in my mind, there are people that are going to vote. There may be Democrats, but you know what? They see it. They go to the grocery store and they're starting to see it, and they don't like it. And you know one reason they don't like it? Because they think that President Trump, when he gets in, might take their friends out. And I do believe that there are some good people, and they just, look, it's a mindset. They haven't been totally awake yet. I think, and good news is we have so many good organizations all over the country that are talking to each other, whether it's Tea Party or MAGA people or, Renew America or whatever it is, Defend Florida. We have everybody talking. All the grassroots are talking to each other. They are working. You don't see them on Fox News, but we're working. And we're working.
Well, that's true, but I'm a very positive thinking person typically. But let me tell you what's going on here. Over 3 million people voted for this creature, Nikki Haley, yesterday, all right? Nikki Haley, and Ron DeSantis is like the sound of silence, right? Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis think that there's still a path for her to get the nomination at the convention this summer. That things are going so bad with Trump in New York and these cases that they're still thinking she's going to get the I'm telling you, they think that they still think that Nikki Haley can get the nomination.
But Brian, who's thinking it? We know who's thinking it. The Bushes are behind it. All of the neocons are behind it. War, Ukraine.
Well, they got over 3 million votes yesterday in the Republican primary.
You know what? There's a lot of people who are neocons. I hate to say it, but it's true. We have them in our own backyard.
Yeah.
They will not vote for Trump. They believe that the Bushes did a good job. I mean, look at how long we were at war. My goodness, stop. We were broke.
Over 20 years. Bush took us into a 20-year war.
That's right. And they want to do it again with Ukraine, and they want to do it again wherever they can. And we're sending money to Haiti. I've got a little experience with Haiti. I don't have to get into it now. And I feel sorry for those people. But what are we meddling in their business by putting presidents in and telling them? They don't even have a true voting system.
That's true. It's an anarchy. All right, Cynthia, I got to run. I'll give you the last word. All right, thanks, Brian. That's the last word. That's good. Here in Florida, President Trump got 80% of the vote. 20% of Republicans in this state, the most MAGA state in the union, voted for Nikki Haley or one of these other losers. What do they think? And this is not a crossover primary state. And 20% of the Republican voters yesterday voted for someone other than Trump. That's a problem. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Ben from Pompano.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, so I couldn't disagree with you guys more on Trump's approach to dealing with the animals who make up our prosecutor's office. I think basing his decisions on what the media might say, he shouldn't pay any attention at all to the media, especially after the bloodbath hoax. No matter what he does, they're going to complain. 89% or 90% of the coverage of him is negative. It doesn't matter what he does. So basing decisions on what the media will do is absurd because they hate him no matter what he does.
Oh no, I'm not saying the media. What I'm saying is everything. I'll give you an example. Okay, how many times did they impeach Trump? I lost track. 3, 2. Yeah. They tried to go for the third, whatever. The reason that happened is because in 1998 the Republicans impeached Bill Clinton for suborning perjury, which is like jaywalking when you think about it, compared to what's going on these days. And that was the first impeachment in 1998 since Andrew Johnson, who was Lincoln's vice president, guys, okay? That's how long ago it was, before that impeachment. So what happened with that is it started this impeachment cycle that we're forever in. We're getting ready to impeach Biden. And this lawfare thing needs to be stopped. if this becomes the new... When I saw that Fox cut away from Peter Navarro, a political prisoner being sent to federal prison yesterday, I thought that this is like just a regular news day now. Political prisoners in the United States.
Yeah, they're not going to stop, though. That's the point. They've made it clear. Once the FBI raided President Trump's home, they did the 2 impeachments. Once they went after him on the federal level and the state level, and they've had all these double standards, they have shown that they have crossed the Rubicon. There's no turning back. These people aren't going to look at our behavior and, reflect on what they've been doing. There is no stopping them. And honestly, I think they'll laugh at us. They'll treat us like the suckers we are if we're just like, well, we're going to turn the other cheek and, take the high road. They love that. They love when we stand to our principles because they don't have principles, and they'll just use that.
I'll tell you, this will sound unrelated, but it goes to the Democrat mindset. When Hurricane Katrina devastated, an area of the, when the South got hit by Hurricane Katrina, W was president, it devastated an area larger than the United Kingdom. And there was a lot of suffering, in particular in Louisiana and the most in New Orleans. Do you know why that happened?
What, suffering?
Well, after the hurricane, the aftermath of the hurricane was chaotic. Well, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
This is the thing. For FEMA to be brought into action, there's legalities. The states have to request it. And that was not long after the 2000 Supreme Court and the recount and all that. And the Democrats were so pissed off. They said Bush wasn't legitimate. He was selected by the Supreme Court and all this stuff. They didn't want to give him the credibility of being president, so they didn't ask for FEMA help. And their own Democrat people were suffering, and many died because of the Democrats. These Democrats are evil people, and there's got to be something that can be done that stops this endless political lawfare, this endless impeachment process. Yeah. What can be done? Well, what's the solution?
They need to understand tit for tat. They need to know if the only language they speak is the language that they're communicating in right now, which is lawfare and just being evil animals. And so once they realize that they're going to feel pain when they pull this nonsense, that's the only way they're going to stop. We have to speak their language, because right now, if we just lay down, these aren't people with morals. This isn't like Gandhi with nonviolent, civil protests where people will just come to their senses and realize what we're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
They will keep going. They have shown who they are, and we need to believe them.
Yeah, you're right.
We have to get rid of them,
yeah.
And like with the Heritage Foundation, we need to purge the entire government of all these deep state or bureaucrats. We need to get our people in, and we need to be done with them politically and legally for once and for all. I mean, I don't know how many times Republicans need to be screwed, like Peter Navarro going to prison, but Hunter Biden not for the same thing, or Trump going to prison.
Listen, and in many ways, this is obviously much worse. But look at what they did to Richard Nixon. That was lawfare by the Democrats, right? And some of his people went to prison.
It's been going on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Matter. I can't disagree with you and Jeff more. We need to take it to them, because for too long we've been trying to take the high road, and look where it's gotten us.
Yeah.
We need to finally behave in the same manner that they are.
Mm-hmm.
We're nice and shake their hand. We turn around and they stab us in the back.
I mean, look. I mean, Fannie Willis has paid a guy almost $1 million just to have sex with her, and she goes on TV and says, "You're right." Yeah.
Still on the case.
It's unbelievable. She's still the DA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just unbelievable she's not in a jumpsuit right now. This is what I'm talking about. They don't care. They do not care. Nothing will make them care. We have cared long enough, and look where it's gotten us.
I'll tell you what I really would like. There's a lot of people that are got a lot of influence and power and money and resources that are MAGA. Can someone please investigate Letitia James and find out how she amassed a $15 million fortune working for the government her whole life? Please.
You scratch between the surface of any of these people, Jack Smith, Letitia James, Fannie Willis, Alvin.
I mean, how does she get 15? I mean, she's corrupt. Somebody bought her off. She's been doing something for years.
They have a million NGOs and nonprofits doing that very thing towards Republicans. Republicans do not. We have dumb donors like Ken Griffin who'll give like billions.
We need conservative versions of Media Matters and things, which we really don't.
George Soros. We need a George Soros, someone who's actually willing to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sick of seeing these. They're so organized. They have so many nonprofits. You know, they're always activists doing activism and getting their donors to the money that has the highest.
And I got to tell you, I am. I shouldn't say this on the air because I don't want to scare anybody or worry anybody. But I got like chest pains right now. Okay, I'm not saying I'm having a heart attack because if you have a heart attack, you feel it in your arm and such. But I got like chest pains right now, a little bit.
Oh, it's scary.
And it's stress. And I'm so disgusted. This is why I was thinking about not coming in today, you know. But, and I'm not exaggerating. I do have chest, that's why I'm talking a little low and I'm not jumping around, you know what I mean? I don't even want to take my blood pressure. It's got to be through the freaking roof right now, you know. And what really set me off was the 10th time I watched Fox News cut away from Peter Navarro yesterday. That I couldn't believe it.
Watch Fox anymore. Fox is they're.
I gotta watch everything to do this job. I can't just listen in an echo chamber. I can't. No, I can't do this job. I watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox, Newsmax, News Nation. I watch Don Lemon interview. It's my job. I got to do it. I mean, how can I do this job and just go in an echo chamber of people that agree with me? I can't do it.
Fox is just full of Democrats and they're a bunch of traitors.
I hear you.
They're just as bad. That's the thing. The whole thing is we have so much weakness on our side, and it's emblematic in networks like Fox and these people who, you know, when Trump's giving a speech and Neil Cavuto cuts away and says, oh, we can't air this. You know, this. Yeah. Our big problem is ourselves. If we acted like that.
Well, I remember when Cavuto said, "Well, we must cut away. The president of the United States is about to speak, and he may incite violence." I couldn't believe. I hate him. He's the worst. He's the worst, and he's worse than Rach. Let me tell you, Neil Cavuto is worse. And you know what? And that guy, he lives down the street from Mar-a-Lago. You know, Neil Cavuto is worse than Rachel Maddow. At least we know what she's all about.
Oh yeah, she flies her colors, you know, bright and loud. Neil Cavuto, like he's like a Bush or a Cheney or a Romney. All
right, listen, I'm late for the break, but a lot of wisdom came from that call. We'll be right back.
The cold.
No, I got a little like right here. It's not, you know. If you're on hold, hang in there.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Yeah, it's like right here. I know, but it doesn't feel good. It's not the gasp. I wish it was gasping. No way I would check my blood pressure. It's high, and that would just shoot it up higher. It's just stress, aggravation. But it doesn't feel good. And got to do a broadcast. I got 2 hours and 9 minutes to go, and then I got to drive home. I didn't see them cut away watching on Fox. I saw it on Twitter. Oh yeah, get high. That's the thing to do, and then continue the show. Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, speaking of political prisoners, one of our sponsors, Mike Lindell from MyPillow, which, by the way, free shipping continues at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. That's free shipping site-wide on all items on the store, no matter how large, no matter how small, no matter how light, no matter how heavy the order. Free shipping with our promo code Kane. Look what happened to him. They raided him at a fast food restaurant drive-thru, the FBI, seized his phone, Mike Lindell, still haven't given it back, and they treated him like a criminal for the same reason that they put Peter Navarro in prison. I mean, I want you to think about what they're doing. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, and it is free shipping. All right, let's go. I'm trying to take these calls in the order in which they were received. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. How you doing? This is Maria from Florida. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right, Maria.
Yes, I was calling to, I was on the phone for a while, so I had almost...
Yeah, you were on hold. You've been on hold for 27 minutes is how long you were on hold.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding.
Anyway, you're welcome anytime. You know I don't have no problem with y'all show because we need to have our voices heard because right now our freedom is just...
I need a wrench.
It's just so horrible. But I really want to call about Peter Navarro. Oh my God, that is so sad. I watched the whole press conference yesterday. It just made me sick to my stomach. I got so mad I just didn't even watch no news yesterday too much because I just cannot believe that you don't have anyone on the Republican side or supposed to be Republican lawyers, what I'm saying, need to speak out, need to come and represent our great president, Donald Trump, Peter Navarro, all his people surrounding him are getting locked up or either get locked up or getting money get taken away, including our great president. This is not America.
Yeah.
This is not America. I went yesterday and I went to vote because see, in my community, I live in Tamarack. In my community, the senior community, all you can do, we got like a precinct where we go and vote. And just about half, everybody in this community over here voted for Republican.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
From ages I think ages from 19, because it's not many young people live in this area. This is all seniors community, and every one of these seniors around.
What area are you in? What city are you in?
I'm in Tamarack.
That's great. Tamarack, Tamarack has a long history of being a Democrat stronghold. Not anymore? That's amazing.
No, they all voted for Republican because this precinct, and what I'm saying, they all voted for Republican because this precinct does not represent the Democrats.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they have Trump flags, they have Trump gills, they have Trump, what do you call it? That's standing up in their yard, in their house, and I mean, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been in this community now almost 9 years, and this community does not represent you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's great news. I mean, for people that aren't Broward County people don't understand the significance of this. But Tamarack really, it's a small town in Broward. just south of Coral Springs, and it's pretty much a retirement town. The whole city is almost all retirees, and it has forever been one of the big Democrat strongholds. And for you to say that people are going Republican over there, that's huge. That's a huge shift.
They have no Democrat. I think the lady had told me, because over here in HOA, they said that this community have changed over last 10 years, that they was not going to represent any Democrat, and it's
well, that's good news. I'm glad Tamarac's coming along. Well, it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, you are.
Thanks so much. All right, thank you. Oh boy. All right, guys. I'm sorry. I know. I shouldn't have said anything that I'm having like chest pains, because it's not a heart attack. Okay. I know my blood pressure is high, and I'm on my 5th shot of espresso this morning. Okay, so that probably doesn't help either. On top of all this, but I am being a little mellow because I am feeling a little something here. But Dr. Matez, if you're listening, if you hear any signs. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
Thought about Letitia James and her money. She seems to be pretty good at seizing property. And in her position, I would imagine in her past, she's probably seized other businesses, rental properties, things people have had tax liens. And that's a very big possibility to how she got her money, because she seems to have, I'm here now looking on she has extensive real estate portfolio.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Well, I'm looking at it. She has extensive, and I know how tax seizures work.
Oh, you think she seizes stuff and then buys it cheap?
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
She's in a position to do it. I mean, she's accumulated a massive estimated net worth of $15 million.
Working for and this is the thing, okay? If you look at her background, she's never been married. I don't know. Is she gay?
She's got kids.
She's got kids. I didn't see anything about a husband in her bio.
Well, she doesn't have to have a husband.
That's true, but she doesn't have a rich family. She went to Howard Law School, right? The black law school. And her first job was at Legal Aid, which is like being a volunteer lawyer, right? She's done nothing but work for government. She doesn't have a rich husband. She doesn't have a rich family. She's got $15 million.
Her stock portfolio is $2.6 million, and it consists of equities and government securities.
Wow.
That combination is an excellent combination. So she's got a good financial planner, whoever's put her together.
Yeah, but you got to have the money to put in there to plan with. Wow, at least somebody's doing a deep dive. I wish others would do what you're doing.
And I heard someone else say that, and that's when I started looking, and I turned.
Well, these things that you find, put these links on social media, and let's start getting them circulated. I got to run for the top of the hour break. It's good to hear from you. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening to us. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. This is Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. We'll break and be back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3.
If you're on hold, hang in there. There's 2 openings on the board. That's amazing.
Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, South Florida. First warning meteorologist Vanessa Minette from WPBF 25 News. A chilly start to have temperatures in the 50s and the lower 60s. We'll see high.
But I gotta kind of be mellow here because I don't want to freak myself out. Oh, that one time that I collapsed on the air and Steve had to call the paramedics. They took me out on a stretcher. It was. There's no tape of that I know of. But I collapsed, and the mic was on the whole time when the paramedics came, and our brain dead idiot board op we had at the old radio station, he wasn't listening, so he didn't know what happened because he wasn't listening, and he left the pod up, and you could hear everything with the paramedics coming and everything, taking me out on right over the air. I can't remember which board op that was. Yeah. Every line on the board is lit, so hang in there, guys. It's like right here.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh man, this is a rough day, guys. Every line on the board is lit, and I am broadcasting with chest pains. I'm serious. You know, that, I was just thinking about this during the break. That time years ago when I collapsed on the air, and what had happened, I was very dehydrated, and I had like 6 cups of coffee, regular coffee, and I had, I don't know, like almost like a seizure. I collapsed on the air. This was at our studio in Coral Springs, down the street from Wings Plus. And we weren't at the radio station. We had our own studio. We were connected to the radio station. And when you collapse, you don't do certain things. Like I didn't turn the mic off because I collapsed. And I was on the floor. And the idiot board op we had at the time, I don't remember which board op this was. He was a liberal guy. And so he didn't like the show. So he was at the radio station, and he would just turn the volume down and not listen to us. So I left my mic on, and everything went out over the air. And paramedics come in. Steve came in. He called 911 and everything. It all went out over the air. And I'm laying on the floor on the underneath the control board, and I can't even reach to turn the mic off. And I have my phone with me, of course, and my phone starts going nuts. And I didn't know we were on the air with this. I said, because I said, Steve, call the paramedics. All this is going out over the air. And my phone is just blowing up with everybody that I know. What's going on? What's going on? And and this is so stupid when you think about this, right? So since my phone's blowing up, my mother's texted me, my wife's calling, my in-laws, every friend I've ever known that some I haven't heard from in years, what's going on? I'm listening on the air. You're saying call the paramedics. What's going on? You okay? So I took a picture of myself lying on the floor and posted it on social media saying, I'm okay, I'm just waiting for the paramedics. Then, I'm not going to say which one this was, but with somebody, a local business, I'm not going to say who this is, they took my picture that I posted on Facebook, I think it was probably one, they took the picture of me laying on the floor, and they made it part of an advertising campaign. And it was a picture of me. This was not authorized by me or anything. This is the world we live in. And they had some kind of caption about me, and this is, don't be Brian Craig and let this happen to you. Do whatever it is they wanted you, whatever they were selling. I'm not kidding. It was pretty bad. It was stupid. I mean, I can't believe that I'm in the hospital. But I'm okay. I'm okay. This is just stress, okay? All right. And what has me stressed is, and then I'm going to go to the phones. I just want to recap for people that are tuning in. But and there's no tape of that I know of, because the board op, when he realized what happened, it was being recorded, because we were on overnights then, and things were being recorded for the overnight rebroadcast. He deleted it because he thought he might get in trouble for not listening and allow all this stuff to go on. I don't remember which board op. It was not Rich Allen, because if Rich is listening, it was not you. It was some other idiot board op. They just, I mean, can you imagine? That wouldn't happen with Mike. If I collapse here, Mike will turn the mic off, I'm sure. It was probably pretty compelling radio. I wish I could have heard it. But if anybody has tape of that, DM it to me. Maybe I'll play it on the air one day. This is what has me stressed out, and I'm as serious, literally, as a heart attack about this. And I don't want you to think I'm overly excited about this or upset about it. What has me just totally disgusted is Peter Navarro going to prison yesterday. It's not funny. Look, they got Paul Manafort, right? Look what they did to him. They almost killed Paul Manafort. President Trump, like all of his campaign managers, except Kellyanne Conway, runs into trouble. Steve Bannon, Manafort, they never will leave Lewandowski alone. They're trying to create a scandal with him. Peter Navarro is a political prisoner right here within the listening range of our radio station right now at the federal prison in Miami. How can that not upset you? Right down the street, President Trump has been arrested. They got a mugshot, and Letitia James is trying to figure out a way that she can start seizing his property next week. And when I woke up this morning, I woke up in a different country than I woke up in yesterday. As bad as it was, Peter Navarro, we didn't have a political that's why I see all this talk about this guy that died in Russia, Navalny, leader of the political opposition, put in a prison. Well, that's what's going on here. So how can they take issue with what Putin's doing when they're doing it here? Oh yeah, but these guys are bad. Well, Putin thinks his opposition's bad. It doesn't make it right. And the two things about Peter Navarro yesterday, other than becoming a political prisoner and being in a cell right now, is two things happened. At the end, when Fox cut away, pissed me off. It was like what Fox was saying was, "Oh, this is just kind of so normal now. It's boring. Political prisoners. We're going to cut away." And then one of the reporters asked him if he was scared. Does anyone know who asked that? He says, "No, I'm not scared." He says, "I'm pissed off," he said. And that thing of asking him if he was scared, they were talking about this on social media yesterday. The liberals, they're getting excited by this. The left and the media are energized by Peter Navarro being in prison yesterday. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. This is Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick. What's up?
We're talking about Peter Navarro, and what about Eric Holder? He's in contempt of Congress, and yet he's still walking free.
Correct.
And it's been how many years?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the justice system we have in this country. The other thing, Letitia James, a lot of her money is coming from Soros.
That's what they say.
And we've got to shut his show companies down.
It's amazing to me that when she is going after President Trump for these accusations of financial crimes, which are absurd, she's doing something dirty to be that rich, working for the government her whole life, and no one's looking into her.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
It's a two-tier justice system, and the same thing with the one down in Georgia, Fannie Willis.
Mm-hmm.
And all that money, and Alvin Bragg, all these guys, they're multi-millionaires. I mean,
yeah.
And it's incredible. They just want to. They're trying to make an example of all these people. And back in '74, when President Nixon resigned, they wanted to arrest him the minute his plane touched down in San Clemente.
That's right.
But Ford had pardoned him, and that thwarted that whole plot. The Democrats have always wanted to make an example.
Listen, and if you guys remember, for the lawfare is not new with the Democrats. Nick's right. What they did with Nixon, and remember, a year before, the Democrats went after Spiro Agnew, the vice president. They got rid of Nixon's vice president, and then they got him. That was, and some of his guys went to prison, too. Okay, so this is what Democrats do.
Yeah, they want one-party rule, and I'll tell you, if they ever get full power, forget it. The other thing I wanted to mention before I go, Barack Obama is over in London.
Yeah.
With the Prime Minister. Remember when President Trump was coming in and he was lining up all these companies to come back in?
Mm-hmm.
Obama warned him and said, "Hey, there's only one president." Well, what the heck is Barack Obama doing?
Exactly. He was at 10 Downing Street.
He's not legally president. I mean, I guess.
And he walked in and out of the front door to make sure everyone saw him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With everything.
You don't have to go in that door. That door is for photo ops. That's not the regular door that they use, the front of 10 Downing Street. He went in there and came out of it on purpose. He wanted everyone to know he's running the show.
Everything's calculated.
My guess would be that had something to do with Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another thing there with all that.
See, this thing that they are convinced, and they always have been, that Trump is financially corrupt. And the reason they're convinced of that is because that's how they make all their money, corruption. And they can't even fathom that someone makes themselves very wealthy in an honest way. That doesn't even compute to these Democrats.
Because they're crooks.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're all, I appreciate the call. Look at how many of them are millionaires and have done nothing but work for the government. There's only one opening on our line, and I do appreciate it, you guys today. You're getting me through the show with the, little issue I'm having here. It's 16 minutes after the hour. Back with your calls after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning, Ryan. I just want to say thank you for the apple credit because after morning my wife took me out to go down there to my 90-year-old mom. Mom walked straighter than she ever walked in her life, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. No, I drink water. I drink plenty of water. Yeah, I was really sick that day. I appreciate it.
The first thing I would do is put music up. Well, turn your mic off, put music on until we
Yeah.
get back up.
Yeah.
I have a plan.
Oh no. Hopefully you don't need. Hopefully you don't need a plan.
I know.
Yeah.
I have full faith you're not going to do it.
Yeah. The last time I mentioned something about Rich, he sent me a text.
Oh gosh.
He was really pissed, so I blocked his number so he can't text me anymore. I mean, Mike, it was really nice.
He hasn't messaged me, so he has my number still. So. But at least it's good now.
Yeah.
You can check out wide open deep blue views and sun-soaked adventures. Plus, all cruises are now 50% off, so you can embrace easy, breezy cruise vacation for less.
Yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe.
Get your free ocean view cabin plus 50% off today before this incredible deal sails away.
And everyone, please like the video, guys. Well, if 99.9% of millionaires are crooks, Trump, who's a billionaire, is in that 0.1% of those that are not crooks, because he's not. One opening on the board. Trump did not do crooked deals. Nope.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world.
All right, there is only one opening on our very busy board at 1-888-465-2631. You know, I got a message from a listener yesterday afternoon. They asked, does Dr. Appleton and that laser wave pain treatment work on sciatica? Indeed, it does. I have a list here that Dr. Appleton gave me, and it's not a complete list, but it's a list of some of the most common things that the laser wave pain treatment can be used for. This is not a complete list, but it's some of the more common ones. And I haven't gone through the list in a long time, but sciatica is on it. And I'll go through it, and I'll go through it a little slower than me because I talk about my own problems, but there's a lot of other kinds of pains other than the ones I've had. Dr. Appleton's laser wave pain treatment, it works, guys, and it's 100% painless. No injections, no drugs, no downtime, 100% painless. These are some of the more common things that it works with, but it's not a complete list. Arthritis and bursitis pain, work injuries, sports injuries, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical swelling, neck injuries, back injuries, knee and back pain, knee conditions, tinnitus, sciatica. See, there it is. See? Yeah, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, rotary tears, herniated discs, acute pain, chronic pain, and many other types of pain. So yes, it does work with sciatica. And remember, walk-ins are welcome. Appointments are never required with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonChiro.com. All right, back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Pompano.
Hey, Richard.
Okay, two things. First of all, don't get angry at me. Why don't you sit down for your 3 hours on YouTube?
I never sit down when I'm on the air. No, because there's a couple reasons why I don't sit down when I'm on the air. One, you do a 3-hour show and it affects, your breathing and everything, and it's easier to talk for 3 hours if you're standing. And also, if you're sitting down, you snooze. And I have so many friends at other radio stations, and they think when they're on the air they're Joe Cool. They dim the lights. They sit down, they're kind of like Venus Flytrap in WKRP, I have the lights on as bright as they'll go, and I always stand. And that's, got to be energetic. It is, it's the way it is. If I sat down, it'd be different.
All right, I have a second.
Why would I get mad at that? Why would that make me mad?
Because it's hard to explain. I don't know.
No, why do you think that would make me mad?
I can't explain it. It's like a cashier at Walmart. They can't stand for 3 hours. They're allowed to sit on a stool. It's just circulation of the blood if you're standing for long periods of time.
When you're on the air, even and it's a funny thing because I remember when the new owners bought our radio station and they were building the studio. They asked me, "Is there anything you want?" I said, "Yeah, well, I like to stand when I'm on the air." And they told me, "Oh, that's great," because they actually tell everybody, the DJs on the stage, to stand when they're on the air too. I can tell when I'm listening to somebody on the radio. I can tell if they're standing or sitting. Joyce Kaufman probably sits down, if you can tell.
The other thing I wanted to say, this has got me so upset, is that the more I hear about Trump's trouble right now, with this amount of money to come up with the cash part, and he may have to, the deep state might win on this one. And now, if you remember in his past, he did declare bankruptcy with all these casinos on Atlantic City and all that, and he bounced right back. What could this scenario repeat itself?
Well, that's okay. That's a different thing. Okay. When all that stuff happened in Atlantic City, all of Atlantic City collapsed, and what they're going to, President Trump's home. I know he lives here now, and we love him here. Okay, you notice how great the weather's been is because he's here. I may be wrong about this, but I think overall the symbol of Trump and the jewel of everything is Trump Tower. That's where the escalator is that he came down on. And that is going to be, in the future, a historical landmark. And I think, I think that Letitia James wants to seize Trump Tower and start selling it off in pieces and take down the escalator. I really believe that.
Can he survive this financially?
Oh, my goodness, yeah. This is an amazing, I don't have this skill set, okay? But people that I know that are super financially successful, they if they're broke tomorrow, they're rich in a month. I don't know. Some people just have that thing. He'll bounce back. Don't worry about it. If in the short term, I'm not saying they're going to win, but in the short term, New York is the wild, wild west right now. They're just doing whatever they want, regardless of the law. And they control the system up there, right? And this government, they're doing lawfare. Look at Eric Adams. He challenged the illegals. They arrest his campaign fundraising person, right? Threatened, and then he backed off. He started to get aggressive again. Now they got him up on some sex scandal with some lady cop from years ago.
The rule is.
They don't care about the rules.
No, what I'm saying, he can't even get to the appellate level unless he pays this.
Yeah.
Can't get to the appellate level. He can't get to the Supreme Court.
Well, I saw today one of the let me get the name because I'd forgotten the name, but one of the big Trump fundraisers. Let me get the name. Hold on, I'll get it right because I wanted to mention this later. Which one is it? I want to get the name right. John Paulson. He's one of these billionaire investors. He's one of the big donors to Trump. John Paulson is going to hold a mega donor fundraiser for Trump to pay the bond, so he doesn't have to sell off his properties. But I don't know how Trump would receive that. Maybe, I don't know if he would want to do that. I don't know what his plan is.
I was hoping for the whole week that 5 or 6 billionaires would come to his rescue.
Oh, you know, when I was at that event a few weeks ago at Mar-a-Lago, you know, and I was in this one area that was like there were no, I couldn't even take my cell phone in, okay? These people were rich as Trump or more. I'm talking about really, they were all wondering, who the hell are you, you know? But these are guys, they flew in just for the thing from all over the world, and these guys were rich as Trump or wealthier. And he walked into the room, and they were as giddy as I was. You understand what I mean? So there are a lot of super uber rich people that could bail him out of this. I mean, Letitia James is just a terrible person. And that judge, I mean, I think about that judge. Remember that story? James O'Keefe broke this. I talked about it 2 weeks ago. James O'Keefe has that judge, and that Judge Creeper, in the gym, putting his crotch in the face of a 20-something-year-old girl that he's hitting on. And the people in the gym told James O'Keefe he does this all the time, sexually harasses young girls in the gym. Stories disappeared.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying.
All right, I appreciate it. Take care. All right. One opening on the board. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be back with your calls after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh, yeah. What mic is that on the board?
The third pot.
I think he's probably going to call, so you might want to keep an eye on the board. But he may come in. Either way is fine.
I think he said he feels more like, not real, but like personal. Person. Just unfortunate that was pouring last time.
Oh, that's right, it was.
you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit, and HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaContracting.com.
You know, spring sunrises and summer sunsets always look better on the ocean. And now you can claim those ocean views for free with Margaritaville at Sea. For a limited time, get a free ocean view cabin on select Bahamas cruises so you can check out wide-open deep blue views and sun-soaked adventures. Plus, all cruises are now 50% off so you can embrace easy, breezy cruise vacations for less with savings up to $1,500. Get your free ocean view cabin plus 50% off today before this incredible deal sails away at MargaritavilleAtSea.com.
Had to go tell Mike something that I can't say here. You can wonder what it is if you got the lip readers.
Sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom, take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, there is only one opening on our board, so we'll just go straight to the phones. We've been talking about, here we are, we've got 2 political prisoners here in Florida. One's in a prison cell right now, Peter Navarro, and then, of course, President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Both political prisoners right here in Florida. All right, I'm trying to take these calls in the order in which they were received. I know some of you have been on hold for a long time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Okay. You know, as they say, what goes around comes around. What you give, you get. You know, putting Peter Navarro in jail is, I think, the straw that finally broke the camel's back. I think President Trump, certainly part of making America great again is to get a attorney general who's going to go after everybody, and this is war.
Well, you know, and Peter Navarro in particular, because we've had him on the show several times, and I had him on my podcast as a guest. And when they arrested him originally for this nonsense, when he told the story of what they did to him, it was crazy. He lived in Washington. He lived next door to the jailhouse up there, the Justice Building. He could see it from his house, his window. They arrested him. They put him in shackles, leg irons, like a chain gang in the 20s, and they put him in the cell that they put John Hinckley in after he shot President Reagan and Brady and they were like laughing about it, that he was in Hinckley's cell. I mean, what they put this guy through.
You know, so it's time now, when President Trump gets back in, to let these guys. It's going to take some time, but I think if we get an attorney general who's any good, and that attorney general assembles a big team, they can make America great again and clean all these bums out. All these politicians and all these corrupt judges and everything, they all got to go.
Well, what I'm curious about is because this lawfare thing, prior to Trump coming down the escalator, it happened in Obama's presidency too. Remember Dinesh D'Souza? Yeah. Dinesh D'Souza, his movie Hillary's America, he should re-release that movie and change the title because it's not about the presidential campaign. It will scare the crap out of you. I didn't know that when she was in high school, she personally was working with Saul Alinsky, Hillary Clinton. She didn't have the book. She was working with the guy in high school. But when they put Dinesh D'Souza in prison, they tried to kill him. They put him in. Obama put Dinesh D'Souza. This is how his movie begins. Hillary's America. I'm sure it's available. Hillary's America. Dinesh D'Souza. Obama tried to kill Dinesh D'Souza. They got him on some campaign finance beef, right? So that's like a white collar crime. They didn't put him in the jail with the dentist and the stockbrokers, They put him in a cell block with rapists and murderers.
This is the way it works.
They were trying to kill Dinesh D'Souza.
Yeah, like I said, they play hardball, and the Democrats do what they want, and the Republicans always like, well, let's be nice, no more. Now that President Trump knows how to make war, he knows that you have to win 100%. You don't start something and just play nice. You have to be harsh and win, and that's exactly what I think he's going to do. And the last thing I want to say before I got to go, again, the Eighth Amendment. Eighth Amendment says exactly no excessive fines or imprisonment.
Yeah.
And
they got the fine against President Trump is over $500 million right now. Think about it.
We'll pay that. No.
$500 million. Who has that kind of cash? Even people like Trump that are multi-billionaires, they don't have it all in cash. It's all in things.
Yeah, it's all invested. Yeah, he has some cash. I'm sure he has a lot of cash.
But what President Trump said was amazing. After that corrupt judge's decision, he said they got to look at my bank accounts. They saw how much cash I had in the bank, and that's what the fine was, the 400 and some thousand. The other 100 million's interest from Letitia's interest she put on there.
This is sick. I'm sure. And what I found out is that the Eighth Amendment is also.
That's right.
Applies to states. So the state can't be doing this. And as soon as he goes to court, I'm sure a federal judge is going to say.
Mm-hmm. Well, now you would think, but the way this is set up, where he's got to come up with that to get the appeal, is insanity. How are you supposed to do that? And come on.
Ridiculous. And where's the damn federal judge?
And frankly, where are the Republicans? Mike Johnson and the rest, they should have a major press conference on the Capitol steps about this. They should be here at Mar-a-Lago with President Trump about this.
All they're doing is screwing around trying to find out why.
All they're trying to do is find ways to fund money to Ukraine with us thinking they're not for it. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, that's the main underlying stress of that deal, without a doubt. Fallon, Representative Fallon, made a speech about how guilty Biden is, and still they're screwing around. Should we impeach him? Impeach him already.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sickening.
All right, I appreciate the call, Doug. Take care. All right, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Oh.
Doug is a nice guy, but they shouldn't. They're doing it, Doug. They're doing it. They're doing it right in front of our face.
That's right.
You know what I'm concerned about this lawlessness, okay? And we already switched from Fannie Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, that judge is a Republican, and he put the screws to President Trump by keeping her there.
Yeah.
What's going on? I'm going to alert you to something. The pool has been tainted down there totally. The black churches, it's on Google, by the way, the black churches, there's a 7-minute montage. It says the woke priest montage. The gospel, 17 minutes and 30 seconds of trashing Trump and making her a hero like Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
They have, and that's going to be the jury pool.
Yeah, she's Lester Maddox, not Martin Luther King.
Yeah, but they made her a hero. And the bottom line is this. That's the only case I'm worried about because he can pardon himself with the others. This judge...
I mean, I want you... I know it seems a little fancier than this, but Fannie Lewis has a male prostitute that she paid almost $1 million to. And I mean, come on. Give me a break. And this is just allowed?
Yeah, well, the circulating video is going all over Polk County, Georgia, and it's every black church in that whole thing. The preachers are totally against Trump. The black church is a major force, and
by the way, that is illegal, and that's illegal. What they do in the black churches, it's illegal. See, here's the thing. You know, Fannie, who when we that first day she was in court and she testified, and the day she was wearing the dress backwards. Remember that day? You
swung her ass out that day.
You could see the arrogance in her face. She's like Hunter Biden. And then I saw her daddy up there, who spent 6 hours giving his resume. You know, when he went up there to testify. I mean, the Black Panthers run Atlanta, and the Black Panthers hated Martin Luther King.
You would think we're back in 1950 with the way these preachers are speaking.
Oh yeah.
Congregations.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, he's not going to get a fair shake in Fulton County. He's going to go down there.
Yeah.
You got to see it. Google this damn thing.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate. Richie held on for 37 minutes to tell all of you to go watch something else. I mean, sometimes I got to ask, is he trying to drive people? Yes, he is. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, you look at all these people that they're going after, and what do they have in common? They have been or will be in a Trump administration.
Yeah.
Think about it. Go back to Mike Flynn.
Well, what I was talking about, what I was getting to with Richie, when Obama put Dinesh D'Souza in prison because he was questioning Hillary Clinton and exposing her and all, and him, and they put Dinesh D'Souza not in the white collar prison, in the prison with the murderers, right? I want to know who's on the cell block that Peter Navarro was in. He's only there for 4 months? Do they have him in with the guys that are doing long stretches? Do they have him in with the violent felons, or is he in there with the white collar guys? I don't know. Where does anyone know? Nobody in the only thing I heard from the press is, "Are you scared, Peter?" I didn't hear anybody get into this.
Yeah, look at what they did to Jenna Ellis. I mean, yeah, we talk about Jenna Ellis having turned her back on Trump, stabbed him in the back. But look at what they did to him. They took him into that Atlanta Fulton County prison, one of the worst prisons in the nation, and scared her half to death.
They did. What happened with Jenna Ellis, when they booked Jenna Ellis, they took her back into the jail, and it was not segregated. I don't mean racially, I mean by gender. She was back there with men and women, and coincidentally, a major fight broke out. And I think it was between men. While she was sitting back there, being processed and cuffed and everything, she peed her pants. And then she came out and made a deal. Because she was scared of going to Fulton County.
That's how things are working. I mean, look, I like to see the woke and weaponized out of the government, but that's what we're dealing with right now is weaponized government.
Mm-hmm.
One person.
That's right.
And the people who might work for this guy.
That's right.
I'd love to see General Flynn head of the Joint Chiefs, you know.
Yeah. You know, I saw. Did you see General Milley yesterday? He was in a suit. He looked really weird in a suit. All right, hey, listen, I got to run, Mike. I'm late for the break. Callers on hold, stand by. There are 2 openings on our board. The board's been very busy since 6, one opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. You know, we haven't heard from many liberals gloating. They're embarrassed. They should be. We'll be right back.
Cold. Hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Look up in the sky on a t-shirt, a hoodie, or a hat. It's the Print Hero. The Print Hero team is made up of expert designers and printers, each with their own unique superpowers, helping your company look great. Stand out with your unique lifestyle. Print Hero has you covered. Let your business soar with Print Hero. Display your logo, love, lifestyle, or whatever you want the world to see on a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat. Best prices and fast turnaround time. Print Hero, a company that goes above.
Every line on the board is lit.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel old. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station West Del Rey, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the cycle symptoms. Loose wings gone, night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Hi, it's Steve Smith from New Flooring. Your choices for new flooring have never been more diversified. Here at New Flooring, our sales folks can guide you down the right path and lead you to the right floor tailored to your design style, practicality, and always at the very best value for all your $100. Cortec Luxury line of planks and tiles checks off all those boxes. It's the original 100% waterproof, kid-proof, and proof flooring, featuring superior scratch resistance, realistic wood and tile visuals of travertine, stone, wide French oak, traditional hickory, and the Florida favorite, sun wash tones. There's a special look to fit your personal style for your entire home or office. The newest innovation is Soft Step attached underlayment, made from 100% recycled materials and affords warmth and comfort underfoot and superior sound reduction. So for the perfect balance of style, softness, and simplicity, it's always Cortec. So visit New Floor U in Jupiter at the corner of Indiantown Road and alternate A1A next door to Publix, and Stewart on Federal Highway and Monroe Street just south of Walmart, and Will Floor, the letter U, FLA.com.
Will Floor U, flooring folks for over 40 years.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, only one opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Now, I want to ask you, do you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy? Oh, my goodness, it's the worst. It is the worst. It is living torture. I mean, the symptoms of it are insane. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, dizziness, muscle twitching, the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet. You know, like when a part of your body falls asleep, that. Some have no feeling at all. Many have multiple symptoms all at the same time. Many have all the symptoms in rotation. It's awful. And your doctors will tell you there's no treatment for neuropathy. Well, that's not true. It's just your doctor's not educated about it. And I actually found Lighthouse Medical Center. Steve, his neuropathy was so bad, we didn't think he was going to be able to go on our last cruise. And I found Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. You know, they've been in practice for 75 years with the same family. That's right, the same family. This is not a medical practice that's been bought and sold 12 times in 75 years. It's the same family. They're a founding family of Broward, founding family of Pompano. you imagine? A medical practice with the same family in practice in the same community, in the same city for 75 years. I think they may be the longest, oldest medical practice in Broward County. I can't swear to that, but I think they probably are. And they have a treatment for neuropathy that works. I've seen it work miracles, not just in Steve, but some of our listeners. When Steve and I were at Wings Plus a few weeks ago, one of our listeners was there and told me. And they were, very excited that they got their life back because their neuropathy symptoms are gone. By the way, no matter where you're located, Lighthouse Medical can help you. No matter where you are located in the country, even if you're local, they understand if you have neuropathy, it's probably tough for you to get around. So if you can't make it in, they can still help. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Well, let me take the calls. Some of you have been holding on for a long time, like this person who's been holding for 41 minutes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning. This is Mike from Houston. How are you?
All right, Mike. What's up?
Well, these are pretty dark days. With yesterday's imprisonment of Peter Navarro, to me, we're not entering into a Stalinist state. We're living in one.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys have talked about it earlier today. General Flynn, Paul Manafort, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani, Roger Stone.
Yeah.
6 demonstrators, Jenna Ellis, and now Peter Navarro.
And remember, Mayor Giuliani is a war hero from 9/11, and look what they've done to him.
Yeah. This is not, as other people say, this is not America. We are officially a political, totalitarian, authoritarian, Stalinist state. And the left and the uniparty establishment will use the police powers, the intelligence apparatus, and the secret courts to instill terror and submission in anyone who would speak or act against it.
And a lot of this has to do. It has to do with a lot of things. One of the things they're doing is they know Trump's going to win, okay? But if you're a top guy that might be secretary of this or that. Or and you see Peter Navarro in prison, are you going to take that job? So they're trying to make it so Trump can't get top people. That's why they put his lawyers in jail, so he can't get the best lawyers.
Yeah, they're sending a message. Don't even think about aligning yourself with this guy.
The only person around Trump that I haven't seen like in legal troubles is Kellyanne Conway.
Okay. Family also, Don Jr. And the like. I think that, there's a little part of me that's saying that they're thinking that's the next generation. So do what you may, try what you might with President Trump. The next generation is going to remember.
Yeah.
And we will have our day. But what's amazing? The double standard. Hunter Biden peddles access to his father like a pimp hustling a cheap hooker. Nothing happens. Cocaine in the White House. Nothing happens. Fannie Woods and Letitia James, they commit fraud and abuse their prosecutorial powers. That's okay because they're protected demographics, so nothing happens. The double standard lawfare and hypocrisy is simply astounding. You can't rationalize it. It's just like you were saying. They're making the rules up as they go along. And one of those people had been aligned with Trump, they'd be 11 worth fighting.
Do you think? I mean, I asked this question before the break, and if anyone has the answer to this, please let me know. Peter Navarro is in the federal prison in Miami? Is he in with white collar people, or is he in there with the drug traffickers?
No, I worked in the federal courthouse up in Alexandria for a brief period back in 2018, and I will tell you, when you are in the federal courthouse, you are in a general detention area. But sometimes what they do is the logistics. They might go to a local jail and hold that person in a local jail for a period, so like after trial or until they're being.
No, they got him in the federal prison. He's in a federal prison cell.
So there's a federal prison in Miami?
Yeah, man, we got, I mean, she's, yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know, but look again, Dinesh D'Souza. Look at him.
Well, that's what it got me thinking about it. When I started thinking about when Dinesh D'Souza, I started thinking about him, and then I remembered where they put him in with the murderers.
And that's, again, to teach him a lesson.
They were trying to kill him. They were trying to kill him.
I believe that. And Dinesh, if I remember correctly, Dinesh, I think he gave like I don't know what the threat.
It was a campaign donation.
Yeah, he gave like $15,000. I think it was that nominal and trivial an amount. And he goes to prison
with murderers.
You have people, meanwhile you have this revolving door justices, no bail for murderers. They're in and out, the same day. Illegals, crossing the border in the millions. That's perfectly fine.
Yes.
It used to be back in my day. It was you commit a violent act, prison. Non-violent, we'll let you out. We'll go easy on you. But it's totally inverted if you're a conservative.
Do you know yesterday an Obama-appointed federal judge in Illinois ruled that illegals can own guns and have second?
Yeah. Wow.
They're criminals.
And that just turns it upside down because for decades now we've been hearing.
Why are they trying to give guns to the illegals? Why is that such a big thing for them? The Democrats hate the Second Amendment, but now all of a sudden they like it.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, and now suddenly they're supporters of the Second Amendment
for illegals.
We are through the looking glass, and I don't see even if President Trump wins and he doesn't have. It's going to take. So
now you know that. So this is why I was having chest pains earlier. By the way, the chest pains have subsided. Okay, they were pretty rough in the first hour.
And then that brings me up to something else. Right. Please take care of yourself.
It's hard, man.
So, I know. There are times you just don't want to get up and go out the door. But you and your show are one of the few, if not one of the only outlets where your show, you and your show are a beacon of free speech.
Well, so some of you probably have not noticed this. On the weekends, I do live shows on the weekends on my YouTube channel, and I've only been doing one on the weekend because my wife said you're gonna have a heart attack, you're gonna kill yourself, you got to take a break from the news, and she doesn't let me put the news on. I got to pick either Saturday or Sunday, and she's making me take a day away from the news and off.
You have an unbelievable schedule. I've been watching you for like the last year or so.
That's crazy.
The last 6 months, your schedule is literally frenetic.
Yeah, well, I got to run. I'm at the. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic
No, can you check the lines? He might call in. Because they didn't call ahead about the AC or anything, right?
No, I don't know.
Told you. Yeah, which line?
The last one. 556.
Oh, they just put these in the lobby for the frequencies.
Cool. I gotta give it to the people at the condo because they're always asking.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I walked this wireless mic. I walked all the way to like the corporate offices at the other side of the building. Oh, which line? Which 6? Wait, the show's to. His show's tonight, right? At 6? At 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock? Okay.
House Oversight Committee will present Steve and two former associates testify about how they saw that Vice President opened the sun with his work as charged the White House is strongly denied. Democrats on the committee have called Paulette, former associate of Rudy Giuliani, who's expected to speak of GOP efforts to dig up dirt on the violence in Ukraine. ABC Steve. Texas still cannot enforce its law authorizing local authorities to arrest and deport individuals they suspect of being in the U.S. illegally. The Supreme Court ruled Texas could on the law could enforce it during appeal. Later, an appeals court ruled Texas cannot. Argument set for today. City of Chicago suing Glock, asserting the gun maker is selling semi-automatic handguns that can be easily converted to bullets. This is ABC News.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All right. Callers on hold, stand by. There is just one opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. And we'll get back to the phones in just a bit. But first, we're going to check in with Jupiter Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas, good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Great. Isn't it? I know. You got to work. You can't play golf today, right? You know, I tell you, I was talking the other day, and I realized my daughter just turned 25 years old yesterday, all grown up, and I realized that in my life, I was talking to my wife about this, that I've kind of changed my outlook, as opposed to just like, okay, I'm working, I'm trying to accumulate, I'm starting to think about, well, wait a minute, when I retire or something happens to me, how are we going to live? How are you going to live? How much income do you need a month, you know, if something were to happen to me or I were to retire? And I was thinking about you on annuities. Can you tell people about annuities, what's so great about them and the great benefits of them?
Well, the biggest benefit is guaranteed income for life. I know it sounds crazy, but it works just like your Social Security does. It's going to guarantee you an income stream for the rest of your life as long as you live that you can't outlive. And no other product out there does that. And if you're lucky enough to have a pension, you know that a pension works that way, and so can an annuity. So it's just guaranteed income for the rest of your life.
You're really creating your own pension.
You are. You are exactly right.
Yeah, and I think I told you about this before. One of my best friends, this is one of the guys that contacted me after he heard you. He sold his house and he bought a little tiny place because he's all alone now and everything else. And he used all that money to buy an annuity, and he loves it.
You'd be surprised how many people are doing that now, where they just want to, they want to get out of the rat race, so to speak. They're retiring because they're either forced out or they want to retire. And the only way to guarantee income so that you know that you have enough money to pay your bills is to have income, and income is guaranteed through an annuity. So it's just another tool in your retirement toolbox.
Absolutely. Now, there's also tax benefits to annuities. I've heard you mention. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So, if you don't take the income, let's say you don't need it, then you're tax deferred until you do. So tax deferral means that you're just deferring, like your 401k or your IRA. So you don't pay tax until you need to take the money. So you can control the tax level on your investments, which is a big deal.
Yeah, a lot of people are retirement age. They're still working. They may want to keep that income down a little bit for the tax man.
Exactly. And taxes has a lot to do with future income. So if you keep it lower now and then take a bigger amount later, well, you're going to pay tax then, but who cares? By that time, you just need the income to live on, you know?
Well, you know, the two things I like that I hear from you about annuities, and I know everyone's different and everyone's needs are different, and, you know, Joe Thomas, he offers free phone consultations no matter where you're located, and your situation will be different from mine or the guy next door, okay? But the two things that you talk about with annuities that are just like, boom, let's go. One, your money's not at risk, right? So if you put money in an annuity, you're not going to lose it like in the stock market. That's a big one.
Exactly. I mean, the most important thing right now with everything going on is you want to make sure that you're securing your future. How do you do that? Don't risk all your money. I tell people all the time, let me ask you a question. When you go down to the Hard Rock and you're going to have an evening out, do you bring with you $5,000, $10,000 to gamble? $20 or maybe
exactly.
People just don't get that. In the stock market with your 401k, you're risking tens of thousands, and a lot of people just don't know it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So not risking the money is that's I mean that's like wow, that's amazing. And the other thing about the guaranteed income, and you know, like I play the lottery sometimes, and I like that ticket. Sometimes I buy that lottery ticket where you get money every week for the rest of your life. And that's kind of like an annuity. You're getting money for your whole retirement, and that's a great thing. And people
just don't know, but that is an annuity. When the lottery
really
you out, it's an annuity. Oh yeah, when you win $1 million at the lottery, they're going to give you 20 years income for $50,000 a year. That's an annuity. They don't equate it that way. Yes.
Wow. So, oh, and by the way, your show is on tonight on our radio station at 6 p.m., right?
Correct.
Yeah, and you know, on Joe Thomas's radio show, you'll get a lot of great information beyond what I talk to him about, and it's an interesting show. I've been a guest on that show, and I have listened to it on many occasions, and they're also archived on our radio station website if you want to listen to some past episodes. So, guys, listen, give Joe Thomas a call. He's offering free phone consultations no matter where you're located. You just got to mention you heard him on the radio. And as I said, your situation is different than mine and your best friends and your neighbors. And whatever your situation is, you tell Joe Thomas, and he's going to tell you how he can help you with your unique situation and your goals, right? My goal is I don't want to risk money, and I want to have money coming to me, an income stream, because when you're retired, not everybody has a pension. Not everyone has a 401k, okay? And now you can have something that's just like that. And you told me this. See, you learn a lot listening to Joe Thomas's radio show. You told me that pensions are really like annuities.
A pension is an annuity. But people just don't, they hear the word annuity and they think it's some kind of, risky, crazy thing.
Not at all.
No, it's just the opposite. It's just the opposite. And that's what we do is educate people, especially on our show and on your show, Brian. We're lucky to have an audience that listens and learns. And we're all about information and education. If we can show you how to do this, that's how we make money, and that's how you make money. It's a win-win situation.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you Joe Thomas's number, but if you miss the number, just go to his website and it's there, jupiterjoe.com. jupiterjoe.com. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. All right, Joe Thomas, we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, take care. All right, and, Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, boy, it's a rough day, Steve. It's a rough day.
You're the man, the go-to man when I don't have an answer to a question. You're the man I call.
Oh.
I sort of remember vaguely as I was drifting into dreamland last night and listening to the radio. That's the only way I can fall asleep. I could have sworn I heard that there was a Supreme Court justice, and I'll know the name if I hear it, but there was a Supreme Court justice yesterday who signed off on this Navarro jailing.
Yeah, the Supreme Court refused to give him a stay or an extension or help him avoid it, yeah.
Which is the justice?
That one I don't have the answer to. If somebody knows, call and let us know.
And then the second part of the question is, what the hell are they doing?
Screwing us over, Steve. Turning us into the Soviet Union. That's what they're doing.
I mean, this is mind-blowing.
I mean, Eric Holder and others have defied these congressional subpoenas. Peter Navarro is the only one that's gone to prison for it.
Not on the Supreme Court. I mean, I don't know.
No. Eric Holder. No. Eric Holder was in contempt of Congress. He refused to testify. He didn't get arrested. He didn't go to prison. He didn't get put in John Hinckley's cell and leg irons.
God. 19.
Yeah.
I have another question. Where the hell are all Don's rich friends?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Well, no, I'm glad. No. Actually, no. Actually, since you brought that up, I did mention this earlier, but that's one of Donald Trump's big mega donors. He's a billionaire. John Paulson is holding a fundraiser with other billionaires to pay Trump's bond in New York. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but it's being organized. Yes, it's in the works.
I should hope.
Yeah. Well, listen, our phones are very, very busy, and I know some of you have been on hold for a very long time, so can we go to the phone? Some of these people have been holding on for a long time. Our number is 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Louise, the masked lady in Boca.
Hey, Louise, what's up?
Now, I hope I have an answer. I hope it's correct or true that they said Peter Navarro, I think it was on David Muir, Peter Navarro is supposed to go into a prison with older men and white-collar.
No. I don't want to hear any of this supposed to. I want to find out where he actually is.
They said he was going in with white.
But that's kind of like those things. You ever see an ad in they don't really have magazines anymore, but they used to have these travel magazines, and you could stay at a hotel for $35 a night, and then you call up. Well, we don't have any more of those rooms. It's $135 a night. Those rooms are gone. Yeah.
Heard this on the news.
David Muir is the ABC News anchor. Don't believe anything ABC News says.
It must have been him. I don't think it was Hannity. I really don't.
There's a difference in where you're supposed to go and where you end up.
They didn't say supposed to. They said that's where he was going. I just hope.
I hope they're right. I hope the fake news was honest and right. I mean, listen. When Peter Navarro was last on this show, he said they busted into my house, even though I lived next door to the building. They put me in leg irons and put me in John Hinckley's cell, and then they laughed that I was in Hinckley's cell in leg irons, okay? So they have a history of abusing him. I don't want to hear about where he's supposed to go. I want to know where he actually is today.
I'm saying.
I understand what
Well,
you know what?
I do. You hope ABC Nightly News is honest. Well, oh my goodness. All right. ABC Nightly News, by the way, just to give you some context, Toby Keith that just died. He was famous for that song, the Angry American song. We'll stick a boot up your, what? ABC News, when they wouldn't let him play that song after 9/11 at the Concert for America. So that's ABC News. So I don't believe anything about ABC News. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Steve. Brian, how you doing this morning?
All right.
So far, huh? Okay.
Nah.
I just want to send you a little bit of information about Peter Navarro. I don't know where he's at, but I know that's going to happen to a lot more people than him. I just read a book. It's called Hillary's America, and it's coming true in her book. So if you haven't got it,
is that the Dinesh D'Souza book?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that book. Yeah, I read that book. That's a very good book. I read that book when it came out. It's really, he should retitle that because it's a history of the racism of the Democrat Party, about how they were friends with Mussolini and the Nazis. Yeah, Hillary's America is a very good book. It's a complete history of the racism in the Democrat Party. You know what we need? You know what we really need? We need Don Jr. and Eric to go visit Peter Navarro in prison in Miami and view the conditions, or Amnesty International, or the Red Cross, the International Red Cross, someone. We need to go down and find out what conditions he is in. And, you know, when they first get processed, the first day or two is processing. So, I mean, after he's processed into the jail, I want to know who are the people on the block with him. I hope it's dentists and accountants and secretaries that stole from their bosses and stuff like that. But and that's where he should be, white-collar prisoners. But after they put Dinesh D'Souza in prison with murderers and rapists and hitmen and people like that, you can't assume. And the mask lady still wears a mask, so how can you know?
Yeah, well, that's the bad thing about it is because they're not going to tell you where he's at or give you any idea. You're going to have to send somebody from the good side of the United States government, like Trump or somebody.
And I would need to see, I would have to see Don Jr., Eric, Hannity, someone like that go down to the prison and report on his conditions. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, look at how they've been treating the J6ers. You know, in the J6ers, remember when Marjorie Taylor Greene went down to visit them and the warden like threw her out of the jail? She's a city member of Congress, and they had Black Lives Matter guards on the J6ers at the DC Gitmo wearing Black Lives Matter gear. Guarding them.
Yeah, well, that's a bad thing. I think that's the exact same thing that's happened down in Miami. Is they got him so far undercover that he's lucky you can see.
Well, if you remember when this document case, okay, it's in Fort Pierce, which is St. Lucie County, which is very MAGA, but they took it to court in Miami. Jack Smith thought Miami was a good place to go for that case because they got friends in Miami. They didn't know the way the rotation worked, and a Trump-appointed judge in Fort Pierce would get it. That's under the Miami district. So we need to know. We need Amnesty International, the Red Cross. I retract that. I don't trust them. We need someone we can trust, and there's only a hand. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Christie Noem, DeSantis. We cannot trust DeSantis. Eric Trump, Don Jr., Kim Guilfoyle. We need somebody like that. Hannity. We need someone like that to go down there and report on the conditions of Peter Navarro after he's processed and put in his permanent cell.
Anybody has that information on which Supreme Court justice signed off on it?
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too. All right, listen, you held on for a long time, caller. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I think that it's going to get a lot worse because Trump's coming up for 2024.
That's right. That's right. Yes, that is right. I agree with you. We'll be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
It's Brian Craig here. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera. You get a doorbell camera. And you get a doorbell camera. Wish I had them for everyone, but the first 40 True Oldies channel listeners who call 1-833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home right from the palm of your hands. That's not all. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies channel listeners to dial 1-833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's now for this limited time offer at 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Hey, are you already dreaming about your next vacation getaway? Well, the True Oldies channel wants to send you cruising on Margaritaville at Sea. Check out a 3-day, 2-night cruise to the Bahamas with delicious island-inspired cuisine, amazing live entertainment, spectacular ocean breezes, and a whole lot more. Just go to TrueOldiesFLA.com to register for your chance to win. You know, spring sunrises and summer sunsets always look better on the ocean. And now you can claim those ocean views for free with Margaritaville at Sea. For a limited time, get a free ocean view cabin on select Bahamas cruises so you can check out deep blue views and sun-soaked adventures. Plus, all cruises are now 50% off so you can embrace easy, breezy cruise vacations with savings up to $1,500. Get your free ocean view cabin plus 50% off today before this incredible deal sails away at MargaritavilleAtSea.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Pins and needles in your hands and feet. Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms? Blood burn marrow. There is help at the Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for your choice consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen to Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, we're back. Call us on hold, stand by. You know, in the first hour, I was talking on the air that I had chest pains, right? Chest pain. Not a heart attack because, you know, it wasn't the arm, but I had chest pains, and it's this crap that's going on that they, you know, and I often, I don't have health insurance. People ask, how do you get by without health insurance? And we have sponsors. I've been getting text messages from multiple doctors with multiple areas of expertise during the entire show, giving me all kinds of professional medical advice. So that's how I get by. It's nice, Steve. We have our own medical team here in the audience. Our number is 1-888-465-2631. Let's go back to the phone. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
South Florida calling. How are you?
All right. What's on your mind?
All right. Peter is in MCI, Miami. They call it the camp. It's no restrictions. He can walk off and just walk into the sunset. They're not in cells. It's not a confined environment.
So is this where he'll be like for the next 4 months?
Correct.
So what type of people will he be around?
Everything soft collar people. Martha Stewart was in an environment like that. It's not a confined. There's no bars, no nothing.
Well, this is my concern. Okay, what Peter Navarro did yesterday was very brave. Before he got locked up in prison by Joe Biden and Barack Obama's corrupt henchmen, he went out and had a press conference and he laid it all out. And the whole world is looking at Peter Navarro right now. So he may be in this country club prison, club fed description, but where's he going to be in 6 weeks? There's no way to know.
He'll be in the camp. If anything happens, I could always reach out.
Okay, I appreciate that. Let us know. Because now that all the attention, he pissed everybody off yesterday, the lawfare people. You understand that, right? He pissed them all off. They're pissed. But the world is watching Peter Navarro now. They may not be watching in 3 weeks or 6 weeks or 2 months, right? And in federal lockup, you got to do 80% of your time. So what's 80% of 4 months? That's 120 days. So he's got to do almost the whole 4 months. You know, so I'm worried about him, and there, you know, not just because of Jeffrey Epstein, but he's very, you know, that's part of it. But there's what happened to him. He was in a safe environment, wasn't he, Steve?
Well,
he was in a cell all alone.
Gonna get better treatment than that.
That press conference Navarro did yesterday, believe me, flipped him out. These people are emboldened. I mean, they're without fear. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, man.
Doris.
Doris, the yes. Lady, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Listen, you just had Joe Thomas on, and he said he loves your audience. He said they're smart and they learn. They listen and they learn. And I pray that you will listen and learn. I'll be 95 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. And for all my life, I've been praying. I was raised a little Catholic, you know, Mass every day and the whole thing. And there's one thing I know, and it's that when you pray, God will answer your prayers.
So
and one of the best.
You have a very happy birthday tomorrow. You promise me?
Oh, I will, because I'll start it off praying for Brian and Steve on this show, which is so important to so many people. But please, once in a while, say hallelujah when you get good news.
Good news.
God bless you.
I appreciate it. 95 years old. Oh, man. You know, it's a funny thing. You know, she's, by the way, that's the lady I was talking about, Baby Precious, that the aborted baby that I had in the, Doris that just called, she's the one that arranged for Baby Precious to have a proper Catholic funeral with a priest and everything. And that was amazing that she did that. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be back.
Making morning radio.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here. Okay, so Jimmy Kimmel, I'll tell you how this relates to, he hosted the Oscars a couple weeks ago, and it was I did not watch the Oscars. I mean, I did see Oppenheimer, but I don't think I've seen any other movie that may have been nominated. I don't know. But it was being reported in real time that it was the worst Oscar hosting performance in the history of the Oscars. And the Oscars have been on for almost 100 years, so that's pretty bad. And David Letterman had a really bad one many years ago. It was really bad. And they said it was worse than Letterman. Okay? And at the end of the Oscars, he came out and read a post that Trump wrote on Truth Social about how bad he was doing. Trump was watching, and he commented about how bad Jimmy Kimmel was doing. So Jimmy Kimmel came out at the end of the Oscar performance and read Trump attacking his performance at the Oscars. And the reason Jimmy Kimmel did that is he was afraid he was going to get fired, and he was afraid that people were going to criticize him. If he knew, but he came out to all those actors and read Donald Trump's negative review of his Oscar hosting performance so that they wouldn't criticize him. Because these reviewers and actors and actresses, they don't want to be agreeing with Trump on anything, even if it's that Jimmy Kimmel sucks as the host of the Oscars, okay? And and so he didn't get really that. He got negative reviews from regular people on social media, but in the mainstream press, he didn't get any negative reviews because they didn't want him to, they didn't want to agree with Trump. So, but that was a couple weeks ago. And there's been talk of firing Jimmy Kimmel because he's not funny at all. He has a history of doing things in blackface, which pisses them off, and the Oscar performance was bad. So Jimmy, he knows he survived, but he's nervous. So Jimmy Kimmel, he did something last night that that is another attempt at a lifesaver. He went out and interviewed MAGA supporters and asks them what he calls basic citizenship questions, and of course they get the answers all wrong. And so he's turning his show into this anti-Trump show to try to keep the network from firing him, Jimmy Kimmel. Now, first of all, just because someone's wearing a MAGA hat doesn't mean they're really a Trump supporter. Anybody can buy one, and anyone can wear one, right? You don't have to be a Trump supporter to wear a MAGA hat. But the questions they asked are not basic citizenship questions. What's the supreme law of the land? Do you know, Steve? The supreme... That is correct. but that is not generally known by everybody. Okay? How many constitutional amendments are there? No, that's the Bill of Rights. There's 10. There's the 10 Commandments, and there's the first 10 amendments of the Constitution are the Bill of Rights. No, there's 20. There's 27 amendments to the Constitution. I think. I may be wrong. You guys Google me. But even Steve and I, who are, I think, have a above average knowledge of our nation's history and founding and everything, Steve and I both got 50%, right? Supreme law, my first thought would have been, first thing I would have said probably was the Supreme Court. But it is the Constitution. You're correct. The second one, Steve didn't know, but I know. We both got 50. We both failed. We got 50%. That's the quiz that Jimmy Kimmel's asking. He's not asking questions like how many states are there, those kind of things. He's asking a little more obscure things. And so far as the amendments, not everybody knows there's 27 amendments, okay? In fact, the only reason I know that is because somebody called me up about it the other day, and I went and checked, okay? And I think I'm pretty knowledgeable. I think you're pretty knowledgeable. But this Jimmy Kimmel thing. Another thing just on the sidelines here, NBC News and NBC Television have a streaming app. It's called Peacock. And I have the Peacock app. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's on the Peacock app, but NBC has a new documentary with Stormy Daniels on the Peacock app. Okay? And she, they got Stormy Daniels back. And she's going through all this stuff, all the sex was bad, the sex was this. Stormy Daniels, a few years ago, recanted the entire story and said none of it was true. She said she didn't have sex with Donald Trump. And by the way, I think she said it in a sworn deposition. Now, I'm sure that's not in the documentary. Or if it is, I'd be shocked. I mean, so she took back the entire allegation a couple years ago. But that didn't stop them from doing a whole new documentary, leaving that out, of course. So, I mean, what the hell? And the documentary must not be doing very well because they keep releasing like things from it every day to try to get people interested in it. I've got the app. I'm not going to watch it. Because if you watch it, they know you watched it and you're giving them credit for that view. And I'm not going to do that. But Stormy Daniels, she said she was terrified. She said the reason she took the money was because she was afraid Trump would have her killed. I want you guys to understand this about Stormy Daniels, okay? First off, you cannot believe sex workers. Porn actresses and strippers are sex workers, and that's a terrible life. Prostitutes, strippers, sex workers are always in survival mode. They'll say anything for money at any given time, no matter what level of success they have, okay? They're usually very damaged people, okay? But this is what happened with Stormy Daniels. She went to Trump. Pay me or I'm going to go public. That's extortion. If you go to someone, this happened to David Letterman. David Letterman was having sex with this guy's wife. The guy went to David Letterman and said, if you don't pay me money, I'm going to go public with this. David Letterman called the New York City, well, I'm sure he called his agent, but they called the New York City Police Department. And the New York City Police Department ran a sting operation, and the guy came to David Letterman's office and made the extortion demands. They got him on tape, and the guy went to jail. That's what Stormy Daniels did. She went to Michael Cohen, and I think there's more to that than meets the eye. I think the deep state went to Michael Cohen and got him to do the whole thing, okay? You go to a sleazy lawyer like that, they got darkness. His wife's Ukrainian, and they went to him and got him to do it. But anyway, so goes the official story. Stormy Daniels went to Michael Cohen and said, if you don't pay me money, I'm going to go public that I had sex with Donald Trump, even though it didn't happen, according to her own statements. Right? That's extortion. That's a crime. So why is Trump jammed up as if he did something wrong? Right? If somebody is extorting money from you, you're a victim, not them. So this whole idea that she's a victim, not Trump, is insane, Steve. I mean, and no one points this out. She's an extortionist, right? She's an extortionist. That's a serious crime. And no one portrays it that way. And this sick, twisted documentary with her is the lead story on Drudge right now. The Drudge Report used to be something. You know, it used to be a credible place that you went to find out the real news. And now look what it's become. I don't know, it's an arm of China? I don't know who owns it or runs it anymore. It can't be Matt Drudge unless something weird's happened with him. But Stormy Daniels is an extortionist. That is a serious crime. She was trying to bribe or blackmail, whatever you want to characterize it, Donald Trump. And by the way, he didn't pay her anything. Michael Cohen did. Okay? So, this whole thing, it's just, what Donald Trump goes through for all of us in this country is amazing. They're trying to seize his property, all this stuff. I mean, come on. It will never stop, Steve. It will go on even after he's no longer with us in 50 years. They will never leave him alone. They'll never leave the man alone. Never. For the rest of his life and beyond, this is what it'll be. They're never going to leave this guy alone. And that's just, but I don't know who else could take it. Look at how I was today. I was having these chest pains in the first hour of the show because I was so aggravated. And I'm not facing what he's facing. I just have facing 3 hours of talking about it, right? But we all have to live in this country that they've created with this lawfare. But what Donald Trump, if Trump wins, will be free again. If he doesn't, the establishment will take that as a mandate and will be in a prison state officially. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break and be back. All right, it is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Silver closed down 13 cents at $24.86 the ounce, while platinum was down $22 at $892, and palladium lost $37 at $977. Those two metals still having a hard time breaking out and being pushed down constantly by the market. The market, gold trading in a range so far at 21.50 to 21.60. Right now, gold at 21.50. Down
Yeah, and of course at William Youngerman's, all the metals are available for immediate delivery. So everything you hear William Youngerman talk about, they have in stock. You walk in, you walk out with it, okay? We got to pay for it first. But you've been telling us in the last couple weeks, I just want to review a couple of things of just really some of the best deals and best buys on both silver and gold that I've ever heard. Yesterday, you were talking about pre-33 gold. Could you tell people about that again a little bit? Because that was a first time I've ever heard you talk that way about pre-33 gold.
Pre-33 U.S. $20 gold pieces, the old double eagles that were made from 1850 to 1932. And these magnificent coins, the St. Gaudens variety, which was where we got the eagles designed from, are all on sale for just the spot price of gold. So they're great double eagle prices today for that.
Wait a minute. That's spot price?
spot price of gold. Whatever gold's trading at, that's what you'll pay, which is, there's 0.967 of an ounce of pure gold in the Double Eagle, so that's, you're paying just about 3% premium, which is less than Eagles or anything else. Great buying opportunity. Only while quantities last.
And those pre-33 gold coins, those are that you're talking about. Those are some of the most in-demand gold coins in America. They really are.
For decades.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Okay, and the other one you were talking about some of the great, incredible, some of the lowest prices ever on the larger gold bars, like the 100 ounces and the kilo bars. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, silver bars. The silver bars are excellent values right now on 100-ounce bars, kilo bars. For Steve Kane listeners, just $1 over spot, and those are these are beautiful top brand bars.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. So, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can find him online at williamyoungerman.com. You can stop, and again, everything he's talking about is available for immediate delivery, or stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, right on the lobby floor, directly across from the bank. And you can also call 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great...
Back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the...
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane is here. You know, I want to stress this because I'm getting messages and stuff from multiple people about Peter Navarro's location in this minimum security place. I want to tell you guys what I said earlier. This is why, while the media is looking at it, he needs to be monitored for the next 4 months. You know, I don't want to, you know, who knows what they do 2 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, okay? He shouldn't even be in any type of facility. I don't care how minimum it is, okay, unless it's a hotel on South Beach. He should be there with the spring breakers, but he shouldn't be in jail, but he needs to be monitored, okay? Did you see his press conference yesterday?
Yes.
I mean, that's like anybody around him would have told him not to do that. Come out, tell the truth, vent your anger, vent your rage. And that one reporter who said, "Are you scared, Peter?" He says, "I'm not scared, I'm pissed off." And we've seen the treatment that the federal jailers have with Marjorie Taylor Greene when she went to see the J6ers. The people that work in these federal facilities are the people you deal with at the DMV, at the VA, okay? I mean, you know what I mean? The post office. And who do you deal with at the post office in the VA? Militant, liberal jerks. And Peter Navarro, for the next 4 months, is under their custody. I don't like it at all. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Steve and Brian. It's JJ.
Hey.
Hey, guys. Bad day, but I wanted to comment a little bit about the prosecute or not prosecute when Trump, when we take back control. And I know Trump said success will be our revenge, and I believe in the best way it'll be visceral to the extent that no one will be able to. The 4 years that Trump is going to get, he's going to change things around so much. There's no way that anybody won't be able to see the difference between the communist, uniparty deep state and Donald Trump and the freedom of American first. That will be our revenge. But at the same time, I think if we allow these created crime Democrats to use projection of their crimes as a defense when we take over power, I just feel we can't allow them to dictate that. And I don't think it's a binary choice. I think that we can do what Trump wants to do, which is turn this country around in such a fantastic way. But at the same time, we need to punish people for the crimes they've committed. And I don't think that will, listen, the media is losing their grip on the psyche and the trust of the American people. And we can't allow...
But it's not as eloquent as you speak of it. It's not our job to punish. It's not my job to punish, not your job to punish. The system will take care of it.
Oh, the system?
doesn't, we're in trouble.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, Steve. It's about, do we dare do exactly what you just did?
Listen, JJ, you're calling from Massachusetts, okay? The People's Republic of Massachusetts, we used to call it, okay? So you've lived your entire life in this little tiny place. Our county's bigger than your state that we're in, okay?
Right, you right. America.
Okay, well, Latin America. Well, you're living. Well, you're living in. Okay. Blow my analogy, but that's okay. You're living in Massachusetts, where this is kind of like the normal way of life. Okay, a police state. Now the whole country is this way. We're being run by angry, militant, entitled Marxist. Look, Fannie Willis, the Black Panthers are running Fulton County. I don't care if they got this white boy that likes to donate money to or given favorable rulings. Black Panthers who hated Martin Luther King are running Fulton County. Barack Obama just had some secret meeting with the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. I don't know what that was about. They've got Peter Navarro in jail. I mean, do you think I am overly worried about Peter Navarro in the federal system?
Worried about it. I think we all should be.
Yeah. And what really blew my stack is when Fox cut away from it yesterday. They didn't even let him finish because the reason that upset me was that the reason they did it is their attitude was, oh, this is boring. This is like an everyday occurrence. A Trump advisor going to prison. And what I realized is this thing with Peter Navarro is becoming the new normal. Is lawfare becoming the new normal where the news think it's boring to even share it?
Yeah, there's a difference for me with regard to Steve's point. You know, the system working, if it was working properly, none of this would be happening. The Democrats go after, Trump's standing at an intersection and illegal blows through there, kills people, in a stolen car. They charge Trump with driving a stolen vehicle.
Were you watching all this stuff going on yesterday with Peter Navarro?
I've been watching everything.
Who the hell is the Supreme? Unless I hallucinated this,
No, you heard it right.
I want to know which Supreme Court justice signed off on this, because I distinctly heard it as I was falling asleep. Unless, of course, I was.
No, you heard it right. I don't know which one
Supreme.
I don't know.
Oh no, Steve, I don't know.
They have a rotation where
It's a male. It's one of the.
Well, that's one of ours then. That's got to be one of ours. That's a Republican then.
Middle of the road one.
Okay, well, a Republican signed off on it then.
So
I want to find out who that is.
Well, I think, like you said, Steve, even when this system is supposedly, if it were working in the correct fashion, there's still going to be mistakes made. That's horrific with the Supreme Court. But my point is, I don't think we should let these criminals, as Brian said, because that's what they are. They create crimes out of thin air.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you see Trump, when the dust settles on this whole thing, do you see Trump losing any of his properties?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
I would say no, too.
I don't see it happening.
It's a scary prospect, though.
But it is very scary.
See, what I was talking about yesterday, 30 insurance companies turned Trump down for the bond. The reason they turned him down was not that he's not safe to give the money. They don't trust Letitia to give the money back when Trump wins.
A very good possibility, Brian. And I also think when it comes to, billionaires, their mindset, quite frankly, is billionaires very rarely have a lot of cash laying around.
That's right.
But invested in everything.
Well, if you call $450 million not much, that's what Trump had in the bank.
Yeah, no, that's a little bit of money, but still, that's the bottom line is if you're worth $10 billion, you usually are invested in something.
If you look at any of our net worth and you include your home, where we all come on, how much money do you have compared to what your net worth is? All right, JJ, I got to run, but thanks for the call. Always a great call. Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Greg. Hey, listen. What's going on with Trump is outrageous. You're absolutely correct. But Brian, I'd like to get your comment on this theme. Brian's enamored with Putin and thinks it's okay to go invade another country and try to take it over because we are the Democratic leaders of the world. But Brian,
the Democrat leaders
love Putin.
This is what I think. By the way, my name's Brian, not Brian, or however you said it. I'm not yelling. I just said my name like you did. Brian. The way he said it was just like, you know. If I went trans, I guess my name would be Ann. I would just drop the Bri. This is the thing. I don't love Putin. I just don't care. I don't care about the border sovereignty of Ukraine or who invades it when we're being invaded. Forget about our borders. Forget about our borders.
They're completely separate topics.
No, they're not. No.
They have no... Hey, Steve.
I think that we don't want to spend the last few minutes of our show debating whether Vladimir Putin's a good guy or not.
Evil killer. He killed that Navalny while he was in prison.
Joe Biden has the leader of the opposition party arrested, Donald Trump. He has a senior advisor to the leader of the opposition party in federal prison in Miami, Peter Navarro. How can I be concerned about Navalny, whatever the hell his name is, when we have political prisoners in the United States?
I didn't say be concerned. Just give the man respect. He gave up his life for his cause.
What was his cause?
To free Russia, to make...
They just had an election this week. And Putin won over 80% of the vote.
Dude, that's a real Democrat.
Oh, you're an election denier. Okay, well, listen, we're out of time. Oh, okay, well, you got a new name, Election Denier Greg. All right.
A note to end the show on.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, what a no talent of a call to end the show on. That too, I guess. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, and pray for Peter Navarro. I mean, that he really needs your prayers. Don't trust that he's going to be in Club Fed on the beach. I mean, my goodness. It's like when they went to Lecter, and they said, if you deal with us, you'll live on this tropical island. Give me a break. All right. That's all the time we have for today. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. My name is Brian Craig. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, at 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and everyone else, if you're already subbed, like the video. All right? Okay, guys, I will see you.